Part 107. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1063. 1061. Jiao Lihong is indignant. Uncle, why should I avoid that old woman? Can't I let that old woman avoid me? Jiao Lihong asked. The breaststroke I'm good at, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, are all mine. My strong point is that as long as He Tian doesn't participate, I can get the gold medal. Jiao Lihong made a bold assumption and was very excited thinking about the future prospects. At the same time, she also resented He Tian even more. Director Jiao was a little embarrassed. This matter was difficult to handle. He could say a few words, but it would be difficult for Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao to handle it. It's better to do this. When you are training, practice your strengths, and at the same time practice the items that He Tian doesn't practice, and be prepared. After all, the order of the competition must be according to the organizer's arrangement, and it may not be able to be scheduled. You have a chance, Director Jiao said, hoping that his niece would be more open-minded. Jiao Lihong stopped talking when she saw that her uncle would not help her deal with athletes like before. Seeing that his niece seemed to still be resentful, Director Jiao said, Lihong, you are a very talented child, and you are still young. As long as you work hard, you can not only participate in the 1988 Olympics, but also the 1992 Olympics, but that can't be done with He Tian. After all, you are so old. If you frame He Tian, if you are found out, no matter how good your grades are, you may still have a chance to participate in the competition. At the same time, I have done it. Hearing her uncle's words, Jiao Lihong felt a little more comfortable. At least she is still young, which the old woman cannot compare to. Uncle, I've made a note of it and will train him well, Jiao Lihong said, knowing that He Tian was not something she could afford, so she had to swallow this tone. Hopefully, with training, she can achieve good results. That's good, Director Jiao said, work hard. Uncle is here. As long as you work hard, you will have a good future. Well, then I'll go out for training, Jiao Lihong nodded, trusting her uncle. Go ahead. If you feel uncomfortable, you can come to me at any time, Director Jiao said. Don't get into trouble to avoid doing the wrong thing. Sometimes, doing the wrong thing will ruin your whole life. Lihong, you must remember Uncle's words. I remember, Uncle, Jiao Lihong nodded. Although she was willful, she was not a fool. Even her uncle didn't dare to mess with her, and she couldn't mess with that old woman. During the subsequent training, Jiao Lihong secretly competed with He Tian, often asking about He Tian's training results and secretly working hard. But we don't belong to the same coach, so we only meet occasionally. Cai Fenfang saw Jiao Lihong working so hard, so she also worked hard. The entire swimming team, led by He Tian, worked very hard and their results improved rapidly. The new year is coming soon. She has many things to do and doesn't have that much time. Moreover, her results don't require so much time and energy. He Tian asked for leave from the team and stopped going to the swimming team 10 days in advance. In view of He Tian's results, Zhu's Hitao and head coach Wu both agreed. Others are envious, but they can't envy him. He trains conscientiously. It's just Jiao Lihong who keeps writing anonymous reporting letters to report He Tian's violation of discipline. However, Coach Wu and Zhu's Hitao resisted and did not disturb He Tian. The Spring Festival is here, and every household is bustling with excitement. Nowadays, the flavor of the new year is very strong and the material is richer than before, so everyone prepares New Year's goods very carefully and celebrates the new year well. Huo Yingjia also completed the project at hand as soon as possible, went home early, and bought New Year's goods with He Tian. The family steamed 2 large baskets of steamed buns, sausages, bacon, salted chicken, salted goose, bacon, etc., and they appeared one by one in the snowdrift in their backyard. He Tien Tien is used to the taste of the South. For these things, He Tien Tien even dedicated a room to store these things. If you can't finish it, you can give it to your relatives and friends. Tang Jian, that shameless person, and Qi Jianmin came to He Tianation's house to eat once and fell in love with it. Niece-in-law, bring me some of your sausages, salted chicken, and salted goose. Damon likes to eat them, Tang Jian said while eating. Since marrying Qi Jianmin, he is not afraid of He Tian Tian. Now, I can speak freely. If you like to eat, just say so. You also said that Jianmin likes to eat. He Tian Tian looked at Tang Jian with disdainful eyes. Qi Jianmin was pregnant and couldn't eat too much of these cured meats. In the end, it ended up in Tang Jian's mouth. In stomach. Ha ha, Tang Jian smiled carelessly, my niece-in-law found out. Okay, although you are older than Huo Yingzhe, Jianmin, and I are the same generation, so don't act like an elder in front of me, He Tian Tian retorted. Calling her niece-in-law every day sounded awkward. A good name, just don't call it. Does this Tang Jian think that after getting married, she won't be able to treat him? Qi Jianmin was eating nearby and kept silent. One was her husband and the other was her sister. She didn't interrupt and let them argue. Isn't this called getting used to it? Tang Jian smiled. Nephew, Tian Tian, I have an investment here, do you want to invest? What? He Tian Tian asked. If it's good, I will consider it. It's the entertainment industry, Tang Jian said. The times are developing very fast now, and people's living standards are much better, so they also need some entertainment activities mentally. After I went to Xiangjiang several times, I already have a general understanding that this is it's a good industry, so I'm ready to start investing. Entertainment industry, He Tian Tian smiled half-heartedly. She wanted to punish Tang Jian just now, but now Tang Jian came to her door. There are many beautiful actresses there. He Tianation's expression was a little triumphant. However, she was also very happy. Now Snake King is thriving in the fashion industry. He even went to Paris to catwalk some time ago and achieved good results. Now there are some companies that want to sign the Snake King, but the Snake King is not happy and has been fighting alone, which is very restricted. It would be better if there is a formal company to back you up. However, for Tang Jian, He Tian Tian would not let go of the opportunity to tease him. Tang Jian was stunned for a moment, and his heart skipped a beat. He really didn't want to pick up any of the pots. He Tian Tian saw him having sex with an actress with her own eyes. He, Tang Jian smiled, we are mainly talking about investment today. Those are just employees in the entertainment industry, so don't pay too much attention. Qi Jianmin knew Tang Jian, and with such a tone and expression, it was obvious that there must be something fishy in it. It was estimated that Sister Tianation's words had pierced through Tang Jian's previous romantic affairs. What's wrong? Qi Jianmin asked. There are actresses and actors in the entertainment industry. It's normal. But being good-looking does help a lot in the entertainment industry. I like Audrey Hepburn, a very beautiful woman. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1064. 1062. Let Yu Tang Jianping dress up like a big-tailed wolf. Ha ha, He Tian Tian smiled, beautiful actors are normal. I'm afraid some men can't control them. It's easy for them to win first. Over there, Huo Yingzhe was eating peacefully and didn't interrupt, as if he had nothing to do with him. Qi Jianmin naturally understood that these words were not addressed to Huo Yingzhe, but to Tang Jian. In view of Tang Jian's criminal record, Qi Jianmin squinted his eyes and looked at Tang Jian. Min, we have been married for more than 2 years, and you still don't believe me. Tang Jian quickly expressed his loyalty, and I run an entertainment company, and you are the legal person. All the money I make will be given to you and your children. You just need to just give me some pocket money. Tang Qian said it was so pitiful, and he actually acted pitiful with his wife in front of other people. Qi Zhenmin thought about it, nodded and said, "Okay, then I will believe you once. However, I have so many good friends. If you dare to eat secretly, I will definitely give you indigestion and beat you together. Give you filled with poison." "No, definitely not," Tang Qian quickly assured. "Don't be angry. Don't make my son angry." "How do you know it's a son? What if it's a daughter?" "You don't want her." Qi Zhenmin, a pregnant woman, became angry and angry. "Yes, both sons and daughters," Tang Qian said. "Hey, what should I do if I have a wife with a bad temper?" Huo Yingzhe then raised his head and said leisurely, "Thank God for you to have a wife." Everyone laughed after hearing this. Before they were pregnant, the two of them were very good, but after becoming pregnant, their tempers gradually worsened. But now there is a conflict between the two and everyone scolds him. Tang Qian can only behave with his tail between his legs. "That's pretty much it," Qi Zhenmin said. "Sister Tian Tian, are you interested? If so, invest." After hearing this, Tian Tian nodded and said, "Yes." Since Tang Qian is familiar with it, let's make a plan first and bring it over to me for a look. If anyone else is willing to invest, they can also participate, so that the funds will be stronger. Tang Qian said, "Let's make more movies and TV series and quickly occupy the market." "Haha," Tian Tian sneered, "then you still have to pass the review." "You don't have to worry, I'll run away," Tang Qian said. "As shareholders, you just need to pay." "Okay, I hope you will be more professional and not let our investment go to waste," Tian Tian said, temporarily agreeing with Tang Qian's suggestion. When Tang Qian saw Tian Tian agreeing, he didn't care about Tianation's pettiness. "That's necessary. Just wait and count the money at home," Tang Qian said. "I have a very good vision. This industry I am interested in will definitely be an emerging industry in the future. We have taken the initiative, and we will start with conquer the market in one step." After hearing this, Huo Yingzhe raised his eyes and looked at Tang Qian. Tang Qian noticed Huo Yingzhe's behavior and was a little surprised. Normally, this nephew never participates in their conversations and is like a very good listener. But even if he doesn't speak, no one dares to ignore Huo Yingzhe. "Yingzhe, do you have any good suggestions?" Tang Qian asked hurriedly, not letting Huo Yingzhe go, hoping to get some benefits from Huo Yingzhe. Sometimes, some good suggestions and ideas are more important than money. Tian Tian and Qi Zhenmin both looked at Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, "Haha, it's nothing, I just think it's interesting. If the domestic entertainment industry develops, it may lead to the development of many industries." "Don't have any other ideas?" Tang Qian refused to give up and asked again. "As a scientific researcher, what ideas can I have?" Huo Yingzhe smiled, "but if you make movies, I can help you develop a good film, and the quality of the movies produced will be better." Tang Qian nodded and said, "That's okay. I also want to start with movies. After all, TV series are released on TV stations. Let's not talk about whether they can be sold at a good price. TV stations may not release them yet." "That's right," Tian Tian nodded, "then let's start with movies. In this way, the investment will be relatively small, and we can make the story more exciting." Qi Zhenmin smiled and said, "I remember there was a movie before that sold hundreds of millions for a dime a ticket. Hundreds of millions are the income from regular theater screenings. Other places are free of charge, or pirated ones in rural areas cannot be counted at all," Tang Qian said, "which shows that everyone likes and yearns for entertainment. So I am more confident." "Haha, actually there are more piracy," Huo Yingzhe smiled, "but this is inevitable. Not to mention that people in China don't have copyright awareness now," even in the past life, when it developed to that extent, wasn't there still piracy? It cannot be changed in a short time. However, there are many people in each country. Some people use pirated copies, while others read the genuine ones, Tang Qian said, so there is still a lot to be done. When the time comes, we will ask Yingzhi to help us get some anti-theft technology, and maybe we can make some changes. Is it okay? He Tian asked. I wonder if the technical expert can do anything this time. It should be no problem, Huo Yingzhi smiled, as calmly as ever. When the time comes, we can develop the technology and license it to domestic manufacturers. It's simple, not difficult, but it plays an important role in China's emerging entertainment industry. Huo Yingzhi didn't want He Tianation's investment to go to waste. He remembered that although Tang Qian was an entertainment giant in his previous life, at the beginning, this Tang Qian was almost losing his pants. Yingzhi, I'll leave it to you, Tang Qian thanked him. I'll get the plan over in a few days. If you're interested, you can call us over and we'll discuss it together. He Tian listened and nodded, okay, I'll wait for your news. A few days later, when Qi Xiaoyan and others came to play at home, He Tian talked about the investment. Sister Tian, are you investing? Qi Xiaoyan asked. She came to say goodbye today. She does not need to attend a gala this year, so she will take her family back to her hometown to celebrate the new year. I'm interested, He Tian said. I think you have been thinking about tape records for these years. If you invest in being your own boss, you may be able to get more resources and you don't have to worry about being cheated. Qi Xiaoyan was very interested after hearing this and said, yeah, okay, then I will also invest and go back and tell Daijin. Okay, we'll talk about it after the Chinese New Year anyway, He Tian said. You have a certain reputation now. If you hire some good arrangers and lyricists, and add your voice, you can definitely make very good cassettes and music. Record. That would be great, Qi Xiaoyan said. In this way, I can send my cassette home and my parents can listen to it every day. He Tian smiled and said, yes, I also like to listen to your songs. In fact, you can also try some new styles to diversify and be more marketable in the future. Please subscribe for genuine subscription. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 1065. 1063. Zhang Wenwen, Wang Ying, and Yuan Hua were also very interested when they heard what He Tian said. Sister Tian, I have some extra money in my hand. Can I invest it? Zhang Wenwen asked. Money depreciates these days. She has already bought several houses. It is not easy to buy more. She can only seek other investments. Among them, He Tian is the best at investing. I called you here today to ask if you have any intention to invest, He Tian said. This was initiated by Tang Qian. He is probably the major shareholder and has the right to operate. We only have the right to share dividends. But I will explain in advance that this may make money or lose money. It is not a sure thing. But I can say that the entertainment industry is an emerging industry with great potential in the future. Zhang Wenwen listened and nodded repeatedly, saying, my work is somewhat related to the entertainment industry. Some actresses often come to me to make clothes and shoes, so I also think this industry has a lot of room for development. At the same time, as the entertainment industry develops and actors have money in their hands, they will patronize my studio more. In this way, it will complement my current career. It's very good. I am willing to invest. Whether I make money or lose money, it's all my own will. I can't compose music, but I can write lyrics, Yuan Hua said. I also have a lot of poems that have been turned into songs. If I invest, I can do my part. Wang Ying finally said, I am in the beauty industry, which is similar to Wenwen's fashion design industry and is also related to the entertainment industry. I also invest. Since last year, I have asked Lu Xiaoqing to endorse and advertise, and sales have increased a lot. It just so happens that I have extra money in my hands, so I can also learn to invest. Wang Ying has now changed her career and is doing beauty business. There are some domestic products and some foreign cosmetics, especially the beauty series, which are very popular. No matter what era, luxury goods, no matter how expensive, are bought by people. Okay, let's talk about it in detail. After getting the plan, He Tian smiled, so that everyone's interests are consistent and they will be closer in the future. As for Kui Ying, He Tian had talked to her before, but she refused, thinking that the antique business was good and she didn't want to invest. The Snake King worked outside during the day and came back at night. He also got some news from He Tian. He immediately took out all his money, which turned out to be 300,000 yuan. He said, cousin, I think the colorful world in the human world is so great. I decided to live a carefree life in the human world. I want to. In this case, I also want to invest. I will buy a big house and a luxury car in the future. He Tian was shocked and asked, the house is quite big, so I will live there. Oh, it's so exciting outside, I want to go and see. The Snake King was full of literary sense. Besides, I am your relative, I can't live here forever, maybe I will get married and have children in the future. Ah, He Tian was stunned, aren't you, a spirit snake? Can you marry and have children with humans? Don't you have Legend of White Snake in the human world? It can be used in the story, maybe it can be used on me. The Snake King was a little reluctant to leave. In addition, he could travel between the human world and the demon world at will. There was nothing wrong in his hometown, so he didn't have to worry. Now he is training his younger brother to inherit the throne in the future, and he can be free. Okay, He Tian had no objection, it's good if you like it. Now you invest money and are also one of the shareholders. It will be of great help to you in the entertainment industry in the future. I think so too, the Snake King said, others are not qualified to use hidden rules on me. Ahem. He Tian was drinking water and choked when she heard this, someone is using hidden rules on you. Yes, but I am so pure and innocent, how could I give in? I have taught you a lesson, the Snake King said, don't worry, cousin, those people can't bully me. Okay, I'm not worried about you, I'm worried about what will happen to those who don't mean well to you. He Tian shrugged, I wish that person good luck. He Tian lit candles for those people in her heart. Haha, you guessed right, I taught those disgusting people a lesson. But, cousin, don't worry, I know my limits and won't cause trouble for you. And Huo Yingji, the Snake King, has now integrated into the current life, knows the rules, and tries to act within the rules and laws. That's good, He Tian smiled, enjoy your current life. Okay, after the Snake King finished speaking, he returned to his room and began to practice. The little turtle came to find the Snake King, and the Snake King stopped practicing and laughed with the little turtle. You are doing very well now, so amazing, little turtle said. By the way, you went to the demon world some time ago, are you okay? No, I am going to give the position of heir to my younger brother, I don't want to be king. Snake King drank beer, you know, I like my current life. As long as you like it, little turtle said, now I can often laugh and joke with you, I think it's good. Yes, Snake King said, by the way, when can you transform? Haha, still have to wait for some time, little turtle said, but I don't know what I will look like after I transform. Maybe it's ugly. The transformation of the spirits is not something they can control. Little turtle only has the original body. He uses the stone statue as his body for training. He is afraid that after the transformation, he will also look like a stone, so it is better not to transform. Haha, No, the Snake King smiled, when the time comes, your master and wife and I will protect you, and we will definitely make you very handsome. Really, little Spin Turtle said excitedly, I keep my word. You must come when the time comes. Okay, when the day comes when you transform, we will mark that day as your birthday in human form. From now on, we will be ordinary people and play in the world, the Snake King said. How lucky you are to have a companion during these long years. 3 days later, Tang Qian brought the plan over and he Tian read it over. It was indeed good. At the same time, make an appointment with a few other people and discuss it at home. Qi Xiaoyan went home and gave He Tian full authority. Tang Qian has made preliminary intentions with everyone, and can formally negotiate when Qi Xiaoyan and Niu Dajin come back. Tang Qian was very happy that so many people were interested, which proved that they were very optimistic about his investment, so he had to work harder. Now that he is about to be a father, he wants to earn more money for milk powder for his children. It's the end of the year. He Nation's audit and accounting departments have reviewed the Veterans Fund and Chenya project. There are no problems. Next year, they will continue to invest more funds for charity. After going through so much, money is no longer important to He Tian. Now she just wants to make good use of the money here to do more things and help more people. After doing this, I can finally take a vacation. It was scheduled for 6 o'clock, but I didn't expect that there was a show going on backstage. When I came up to check it out, I saw that there was no announcement. Awkward. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1066. 1064. After the investment here was confirmed, He Tian told Huo Yingzhe about the last killer. Yingzhe, have you found the killer? He Tian asked. There is no news from my grandmother. Where is the Ministry of National Security? If the mastermind is not found out, He Tian will worry that one day he will be assassinated. Huo Yingzhe shook his head and said, I have already found Xiang Zhang through secret techniques. The Ministry of National Security has also found Xiang Zhang, so there are no clues for the next step. It is probably difficult to find out about Grandma's side. After all, Grandma's power is in America. Yes, it must be in Xiang Zhang, He Tian said. By the way, is Huashan still investigating there? Since that time, Huashan has been investigating in Xiang Zhang. Yes, I'm still investigating over there. Kui Ying also followed Huo Yingzhe's side. Actually, I can still use secret techniques. No, He Tian scolded, you don't remember the last time because you insisted on doing that. You were very weak and coughed for almost a month. Anyway, I wouldn't agree. If you don't obey, I will. What do you think? Huo Yingzhe smiled and teased He Tian. I will have a cold war with you, He Tian said confidently. With the abilities of Huashan and Kui Ying, they should be able to find them soon. I hope so, Huo Yingzhe said with a smile. Some time ago, he had given them the second level of skills. I believe that after they practice, it will be easier for them to do things. By the way, let's be careful about this matter, and nothing will happen. He Tian is very relieved about the current environment and nothing will happen, so she doesn't want He Tian to take risks. Let's not talk about this matter. Tell me that Snake King gave me all the money he earned and also wants to invest in Tang Qian's entertainment company. That's good. Li Xian likes this and can have something serious to do, Huo Yingzhe said. During this period, I think he is enjoying his current life. Well, yes, he is very happy, He Tian said with a smile. Okay, the Snake King has become accustomed to life in the human world, so we don't need to worry about it. What news do you have over there? It's been a very long period of time. Busy, we haven't talked to each other for a long time. If you didn't ask, I almost forgot, Huo Yingzhe said. I have a good news for you. I have already prepared the latest formula upgrade of beauty cosmetics. Here is the information. When your father-in-law comes, you can bring it to him. So fast, He Tian was surprised. Her grandmother mentioned before that she asked Huo Yingji to do it when he had time, but he didn't expect it to be done so quickly. It's rare for my grandmother to ask me to do something, and it's not for nothing. The person who gives me the money must be careful, Huo Yingji said. The income from these cosmetics alone is already very considerable. Yes, He Tian nodded, but it is claimed to be the money from dividends given to me. You work hard and I make money. I'll give it all to you. Even I'm yours. Huo Yingji winked and said something witty. Okay, the child is over there. He Tian pinched Huo Yingji. For such a big man, he spoke without thinking. There were other people around, so Huo Yingji restrained himself for the time being. During the Chinese New Year, it is very lively. Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang came back from Nanji. Dad, last time I was at my grandfather's place, he said that you would be transferred back at the end of next year. Huo Yingji was in the study, talking with his father. Huo Jekan was very happy to see his son. After dinner, he took his son to the study room to chat. They would go to the old house to visit his parents together tomorrow. I also got the news. Our family can be reunited in the future. Huo Jekan smiled, feeling happy in his heart. Not only was the family reunited, but more importantly, his political achievements, which were among the best in the entire Huaxia kingdom, were very outstanding. It is necessary to go back to Yanjing and read the previous book. Haha, then I congratulate father in advance, Huo Yingji said, but father, you have to be more careful. After all, if you ascend to the top, someone will inevitably come down, so some people will not remain indifferent. Huo Jekan put away the smile on his face, looked seriously, and said, I know this, so I have always been cautious. I didn't take anything I shouldn't have taken. As for corruption, there is no such thing. Our family and Tian, we don't have any clutter of relatives or friends holding us back, so it shouldn't be a big problem. That's good, Huo Yingji said. The last year is very critical, and it is also the year where things are most likely to go wrong. Haha, yes, Huo Jekan said. Now the tax revenue of the entire Jiangsu province this year has actually reached the first place in the country. It will be even more tomorrow, and it will still be the first place. The previous tax preferential period has expired, and local companies have entered into rapid development. Foreign companies and joint ventures have developed rapidly, and state-owned enterprises have been transformed and enhanced their competitiveness. Private enterprises are flourishing like mushrooms after a rain. Now it has begun to contribute huge amounts of tax revenue. Part of it is retained locally as local finance, and the rest is handed over to the state. This year, it actually ranked first in the country. Through accumulation and accumulation, Huo Yingji said, the previous efforts have now yielded results. In fact, you were right to stay in Jiangsu province. All these political achievements are yours. Yes, your grandfather and the old leader also told me this in private, Huo Jekan said. His hard work paid off, which affirmed his ability. Huo Yingji nodded. From his father's face, he could tell that his father's career had some setbacks. The next year would not be smooth, but there would be no danger, so he warned his father to pay attention. The father and son began to discuss the domestic and international situation, especially the polar bear country on the arm. Yingji, let's go to your grandfather's place tomorrow and have a good talk about the current situation. We'll stop here today, Huo Jekan said. It's already 11 o'clock. If you don't go to bed, your mother will probably be angry again. Huo Jekan looked like he didn't dare to offend him. That's because mom cares about you, Huo Yingji smiled, stood up and left. As soon as I opened the door, I saw my mother at the door, about to knock on the door. Mom, good night, Huo Yingji smiled and slipped out. When Huo Jekan saw his son leaving, he whispered, okay, I'm getting ready to take a rest. This is at home, my son and grandchildren are all here. You can save some face for me, don't do this to me. If you want to save face, you have to be obedient. After Zhang Lifang finished speaking, she turned around and left with high spirits. Hey, I can't afford to offend the old woman now. Huo Jekan followed behind with a grimace. His wife's thoughts used to be on her, but now they were scattered on her family, which made him feel a little disappointed and relaxed. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1067. 1065. After Huo Jekan washed up, Zhang Lifang poured him a glass of milk and said, "Drink it and go to bed." "I just brushed my teeth," Huo Jekan said, "besides, I sleep well and don't need to drink these things." "Who had cramps on the train yesterday?" Zhang Lifang said, "If you don't take care of your body, why are you being so kind when others remind you?" Thinking of yesterday's embarrassment, Huo Jekan had no choice but to take the milk. After a sip, he went to the sanitary napkin to rinse his mouth before going to bed. "I don't know if it has a psychological effect, but it is really effective." Huo Jekan no longer has cramps at night. Early the next morning, the whole family packed up and went to the old house to celebrate the new year. Song Chunli is much better now than before. She has packed up her room a long time ago so that they can celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day together in the old house in a lively manner. On the afternoon of the first day of the Lunar New Year, the second room of the Huo family returned to Maohutong. In this way, Mr. Huo and Mrs. Huo are most happy. The men played chess and cards together, and the women played mahjong, watched TV and knitted sweaters together. When the children are older, just let them play together without adults watching. In the evening, it's time for the Huo family men's tea party again. After the nanny brought 2 thermos bottles and 5 teacups, she went down. Mr. Huo looked at his second son, very pleased, and said, "Second son, you are doing well this year. You must be steady." "Yes, father, I know." Huo Jekan nodded and looked serious. Huo Jie, who was standing next to him, smiled dryly and said, "Dad, don't worry, there is still me in Yanjing. Someone above wants to touch my second brother, and I will never sit idly by and ignore it." "Thank you, brother," Huo Jekan said with a smile. It was not easy for him and his brother to support each other over the years. At the same time, their brothers have a harmonious relationship, unlike other families who engage in intrigues, which is very rare in Yanjing. "We are brothers, there is no need to be grateful," Huo Jekian said. "From now on, we brothers can be regarded as brothers fighting tigers together. We are father and son soldiers in the battle. Our father is behind us. As long as we don't commit crimes, there is no need to be afraid." "Yes, that's what the elder brother said." Huo Jekan smiled. "By the way, I heard recently that the polar bears in the north are not stable. Does our country have any countermeasures?" This is international relations, and Huo Yingjun, who works in the Foreign Affairs Department, has attracted everyone's attention. Huo Yingjun was sent away for several years, and now he has returned to Yanjing to participate in the affairs. Seeing everyone looking at him, Huo Yingjun smiled and said, "I received some news that the Soviet Union's reforms have made the country very unstable. Now it has deviated from the principles of socialism and pursued the so-called freedom and democracy of Western countries. There are domestic conflicts. The intensification, coupled with the long-term Cold War confrontation with country M, has consumed the Soviet Union's strength." Huo Jekian also knew this. After all, he was a senior executive and was very sensitive to some things. "I think something will happen to the Soviet Union sooner or later if it reforms like this," Huo Jekian said. "There are some people in our country who think that the big brother of the Soviet Union is very good, and they also want to carry out political and economic reforms, and even want to copy others. I am very unfavorable. Second brother, what do you think?" "Well, brother, you are right." Huo Jekan agreed with his words, proving that his political quality is very high. Our country is different from the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was an alliance of more than a dozen countries and became a huge main body to compete with NATO. However, their internal conflicts are prominent, and their reforms are somewhat idealistic, so I am not optimistic that we should maintain stability and vigorously develop the economy. Everyone else had spoken, but Huo Yingzhe was alone, drinking tea and listening to everyone else's conversation. Suddenly the room became quiet, and everyone stared at Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe then put down his teacup and said with a smile, "Ha ha, uncle, father, and elder brother all said it well. I think so too." Mr. Huo was very dissatisfied when he saw his grandson's leisurely look. Everyone was talking about the situation at home and abroad, which was of great importance. This boy didn't care at all and was not in a hurry. "Boy, what do you think? Your uncle, father, and eldest brother have all expressed their opinions based on their own work. You can also talk about it based on your work. Let's see if there are any new ideas and broaden our horizons. Yes, you are the smartest in our family, so you can't be lazy," Huo Yingzhe said. Although he is engaged in diplomacy, there are some things that are not as far-sighted as his younger brother. Who would let the monster brother in the family be as good as such? "Yingzhe, tell me, we want to hear your suggestions," Huo Zheqian said. Every time Huo Yingzhe talks about these major events, he can gain insights and inspirations. Seeing that everyone was saying this, Huo Zheqian also said, "Okay, you kid, talk it over, just move your mouth, and we will do the other things." How can a father not understand his son's thoughts? It's okay to come up with ideas, but don't come to him when doing things. This is the mentality of my son. Huo Yingzhe smiled, "Since everyone has said so, I won't hide it anymore and will tell you my own opinions. I predict that the Soviet Union will disintegrate." "What?" Mr. Huo was stunned. In the hearts of the older generation, the Soviet Union was a behemoth. Although the two countries later turned against each other, they had to admit their proficient strength. "Yingzhe, you can't talk nonsense." Huo Zheqian was a little flustered. "That's the Soviet Union, an alliance of countries that can compete with the United States and NATO." Huo Zheqian also couldn't believe it, but he also knew that his son was not the kind of person who talked nonsense. "This is our family gathering. We can speak freely, but we can't talk nonsense," Huo Zheqian said. "However, since you said that it will disintegrate with proficiency, then tell us the reason and let us listen to your thoughts." "Well, yes, tell me." Mr. Huo nodded. They knew that the Soviet Union's reforms had caused domestic instability, but they did not expect that such instability would disintegrate the behemoth Soviet Union. "Haha, this is nonsense, this is a fact of the future." "Then I'll just talk about it briefly." Huo Yingzhe smiled. "Let's start with a few points. First of all, from an economic point of view, the Soviet Union has been in confrontation with country M and NATO for a long time. At the same time, it has been engaged in an arms race with country M, which has already threatened the Soviet Union. The economy has a huge impact. Heavy industry has been vigorously developed, and light industry has developed slowly, and people's living standards have not improved much. Secondly, politically, Gorbachev's reforms have not only caused domestic political turmoil, but also the infiltration of Western forces, which will inevitably it failed. Again, the Soviet Union is an alliance of countries, and each country has internal conflicts. There have been conflicts between countries before, and when they become irreconcilable, they will naturally collapse. After hearing this, the people in the room were silent for a long time. He fell into deep thought and carefully considered what Huo Yingzhe said. "You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1068. 1066. Huo Yingji's words made the room even quieter. Think carefully about Huo Yingji's words. After a while, Huo Yingjun regained his composure and said quickly, "Grandfather, father, second uncle, why do I feel that the disintegration of the Soviet Union is inevitable after listening to Yingji's words?" "Haha, yes, I feel the same way," Huo Jekian said. "If you think about it carefully, it is indeed very possible. Now that I think about it, sir, you are really smart. To carry out economic reforms instead of political reforms is to worry about the Soviet Union. Whether it works or not, we can learn some lessons from it." Mr. Huo sighed and said, "Yes, so sir is sir, and he is not comparable to us roughnecks who only know how to fight. The current situation is indeed very delicate, and we must also focus our energy on this aspect. Yingja, do you have any other opinions?" "Let's tell them together," Huo Jekin said, hoping to get more information from his son. Huo Yingja smiled and said, "I won't talk about the other parts. But for our relevant units, this is a great opportunity. The disintegration of the Soviet Union will not only have an economic impact, but also a military impact. Impact, maybe we can get a lot of experts or some technical information from it." Mr. Huo's eyes lit up. He nodded and said, "Yes, you can only fish in troubled waters." "How different is our domestic technology from the Soviet Union?" Huo Jekian asked. "If they are similar, there is no need to spend so much time doing such a thing." Huo Yingja looked at his uncle in surprise. What made him think that the current technological level of country H was very high? "Uncle, if we develop for another 20 or 30 years, we may not be able to catch up with the Soviet Union," Huo Yingja said. "We have been backward since the late Qing dynasty, backward during the Republic of China, backward during the anti-Japanese war after liberation, and were blocked, but we are still backward, and even more we are lagging behind. Although our scientists in country H have been working hard to catch up, we have missed opportunities again and again, and it will take decades to catch up." "Oh my God," Huo Jekian smiled bitterly. "Recently I have been hearing that a certain research in our country has reached the world's advanced level. I thought there was not much difference between us and the Soviet Union." "Hey, it's all caused by civil strife," Mr. Huo smiled bitterly. "Now we insist on economic development as the center and will not waver for 100 years. I hope we can continue to persist. Maybe we can catch up." "Yes," Huo Yingjun said excitedly, "it still requires the efforts of our generation, maybe we can still see it." Huo Yingja smiled and said, "We are lagging behind, but it does not mean that we will always lag behind. If we study step by step and do not rely on external forces, we may be able to catch up, but it will take a long time, and some technologies do not require us to research. We can directly use other people's technology, upgrade it, and achieve leapfrog development. This will not only improve the scientific level, but also save a lot of time and money. Therefore, it is a good idea to learn from other people's technology." "Very good way. Well, for example, aircraft carriers, fighter jet technology, warship technology, and missile technology." Huo Yingjun nodded, having a clear career plan for his future work. "Yes, that's exactly what I want to say," Huo Yingja said. "I am not responsible for specific research. I only provide the materials needed for various functions, and there is a lot of information I need there." After Huo Yingjun thought carefully, he said, "Grandfather, father, second uncle, Yingja, I have been transferred back from outside. There is no specific work arranged yet. I want to go to the Soviet Union." "Ah," Huo Jekin was stunned. "Youngjun, you also said that the situation just now will disintegrate, and turmoil will inevitably occur. It is very dangerous. Even if the SU state is disintegrated, in order to stabilize the internal and external affairs, it will not antagonize the H state," Huo Yingjun said. "Besides, what dangers can there be in our profession with the backing of the country? I will be careful. What's more, I also have experience." If I keep wandering around in some small places and have no political achievements, in an era where young talents are emerging, I am afraid that I will not be able to get there even if I have family help. Huo Jekin hesitated. His mentality when he submitted the manuscripts for economic reform was the same as Huo Yingjun's now. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. Furthermore, they are foreseeable and can reduce the risk by making some preparations in advance. Father, I also think what Yingjun said makes sense, Huo Jekian said, but the second brother's worry is also reasonable. If there is danger, let's send more people to protect Yingjun. Mr. Huo looked at Huo Yingja and said, Yingja, what do you think? You can try, Huo Yingja said, wealth can be found in danger. Brother, please pay attention to safety when traveling by yourself. Now that the child is older, will you take your sister-in-law with you? Haha, I want to take him, but my parents can't bear to leave the child. Huo Yingjun smiled bitterly and looked at his father. We will discuss this matter later, Huo Jekian said. As a diplomat, it would be better to bring his wife with him. Because when people from abroad attend some banquets, they bring their wives, but Huo Yingjun does not, so the aspect of wife diplomacy is missing. Besides, if a couple is separated for a long time, something will happen. Huo Jekian didn't want his son or daughter-in-law to have relationship problems, get divorced, or have a restless family. Huo Yingjun was a little excited and said, Second brother, I am at the front and you are at the back. We brothers will join hands to fight for the construction of a national aircraft carrier. Okay, you are thinking too far, Huo Yingja smiled. It is estimated that this matter will not be started until more than 10 years later. It is indeed a bit early now. Haha, not early, Huo Yingjun said, since we have made such a prediction, I will start to make preparations and make some preparations so that when the time comes, I will be able to go with ease. The 5 Huo family men were very excited because of the international situation and felt that this was another opportunity for the Huo family. Below, He Tiantian and Zhang Lifang watch TV with Mrs. Huo. Song Chunli and Zhao Huan are also there. This year Song Chunli and Zhao Huan received Song Chunli's dividends. They couldn't believe it. Tian, is this too much money? Song Chunli said, the 40,000 yuan invested before was really worth it. No wonder He Tian had always said before that 10% of the shares was already a lot. Now Song Chunli understands that although she has few shares, she gets a lot of money. Yes, Tian, don't give us extra money, Zhao Huan said, after all, there are other partners, and she doesn't want He Tian to be embarrassed. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1069. 1067. This year's profit is quite considerable, with 10% of the shares divided into 960,000 yuan. He Tian smiled and said, Auntie, sister-in-law, don't be polite. The dividends given to you are all accounted for. It won't be less money or more money. It's just right. The money you get is more. Proves that our business is good. Yes, sister-in-law, Huan Zhang Lifang smiled, we are all a family, Tian will not lie to you. Besides, you should share the money, so don't refuse. Usually Jekin and I, when I'm not in Yanjing, my mother and sister-in-law will take care of everything. She should respect you, so don't be polite to her. Song Chunli smiled and said, what are you talking about? Since we are a family, those little things are what I, the eldest aunt, should do without you around. Okay, I'll give you the money, just take it and keep their kindness in mind. Mrs. Huo said, my family shouldn't talk about two families, just watch TV and start making sketches. Haha, watch TV. Song Chunli smiled and ate the cut fruit on the table. The family enjoys watching TV. This state made the 2 old people, the eldest brother and the second brother of the Huo family, very happy. The next day, everyone, big and small, kowtowed to pay New Year greetings and received red envelopes. In the afternoon, the second room of the Huo family went home. The second day of the Lunar New Year was the day when Zhang Lifang returned to her parents' home. After that, it's time to visit relatives and have a big meal, which the children love the most. Even if there is a heavy snowfall in Yanjing City, it does not cover up the excitement of people during the New Year. The New Year has begun, and after the New Year, everyone starts to be busy again. He Tiantian was no exception and started practicing. The leisure and entertainment venue she is planning to invest in has not been implemented yet, so if she wants to swim, she still has to be on the team, and she also has to be a good example to the children. If you promise to earn a gold medal for them, you must do it to avoid being accused by the children of not keeping your promise. After the Lantern Festival, Qi Xiaoyan came back from her hometown. Tang Qian and Qi Zhenmin came to He Tianation's home together to meet with several future shareholders. If there were any changes that needed to be made, everyone discussed them. Yuan Hua, Wang Ying, Zhang Wenwen, and Qi Xiaoyan are all already waiting. Because it was the weekend, we were able to gather these people. Huo Yingzhi sat next to He Tiantian, holding a teacup in his hand and sipping water. You have all read the plan. If you have any comments, feel free to mention them, Tang Qian said. If it is reasonable, I will modify it. He Tiantian smiled and said, there is nothing wrong with the plan. We have cooperated before, and we still cooperate now. The jobs they are engaged in are all related to the entertainment industry, so you have to take care of them when the time comes. That's natural, we are our own people, Tang Qian said. If there is no problem, we will sign a contract, establish a company, start shooting the first movie, and release cassettes for Xiaoyan. Qi Xiaoyan's eyes lit up and she asked excitedly, is it really possible? Of course, Tang Qian said, you are not only the boss of our company, but also the first artist in the company. Naturally, I have to issue cassettes for you. I have listened to your songs and there is still a lot of room for development. When the time comes, I will find someone to write lyrics and music for you. As for Yuan Hua, he is the lyricist of our company. By the way, if someone from your Writers Association writes better poetry, he can also buy it, and the copyright fee will be considerable. Yes, I will, Yuan Hua said. She is the boss, so she will naturally consider the company. As for Wenwen and Wang Ying, both of them work in the fashion industry. I think we can start with a magazine that can receive fashion information on people's dressing and other aspects. The cosmetics and clothes used in it can be given to you. The studio is doing publicity. Of course, the magazine will not only contain your content, but also other content. What do you think? Of course it's good, Zhang Wenwen was excited. In this way, she would become the fashion leader of China. Yes, I agree. We can sponsor some when the time comes, Wang Ying said. If this promotion continues, they can open stores across the country and open up more markets. Tiantian, do you have any other ideas? Tang Qian asked. He Tiantian had the most ideas and he wanted to hear her suggestions. He Tiantian thought about it and said, since we are going to use the big screen in the future, the construction of theater chains still needs to be considered. Although it is a bit early now, we can't count it out. Yes, it is true. When the time comes, I will also invest in theater chains, Tang Qian said, but given the current situation, it is still a bit difficult. State-owned cinemas account for the majority, but the environment of state-owned cinemas is not good, and the service is not good either. If the policy allows, I will act sooner. He Tianation's worries are not unreasonable. The domestic entertainment environment itself is not good. If a movie is made and the cinema does not schedule the movie, the investment will be wasted. Huo Yingzhi kept listening and said nothing. Everyone is used to Huo Yingzhi being like this. He doesn't speak when everyone talks, but he still likes to stick to He Tianation's side and listen quietly. Yingzhe, do you have any other ideas? Tang Qian asked, looking at Huo Yingzhe. Actually, he wanted to ask how the film technology is doing now. Haha, no, Huo Yingzhe said, I already have a clue about the film anti-theft technology. When all your preparations are completed, you should be able to buy qualified films in the market. Tang Qian was overjoyed. He didn't expect Huo Yingzhe to be so fast. Thank you so much, Tang Qian smiled, let's have 2 more drinks today. Tang Qian gang said here that the army of cattle came in from outside and said, what a coincidence, I got a bunch of silly roe deer here, and I stewed them at noon today. That's a good thing, Tang Qian said with a smile, it's a blessing, Yingzhe, bring out your good wine. He Tian said with a slight disdain, you come to my house empty-handed and still drink. Qi Zhenmin smiled and said, haha, Sister Tian, don't be angry. I brought Tang Qian's 2 bottles of fine red wine. Huh, Tang Qian was stunned. He didn't expect his wife to bring over his treasured wine, and he was quite sad. I can't bear to drink it myself. Haha, I knew you were reluctant to drink it, so I gave it to Sister Tian, Qi Zhenmin said with a smile, without any intention of turning his elbows outward. What? We still can't drink your good wine, he Tian asked, feeling happy, this sister is really good. Tang Qian smiled bitterly and said, you can drink it, you can drink it. That's all right, he Tian said. Although they knew they were acting, everyone was still joking and quite happy. At this time, the Snake King finished his work and happened to go home. When he saw someone coming to the house, he washed his hands and came over for dinner. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1070. 1068. Tang Qian knew that Li Xian was one of the shareholders of the company, but he and Li Xian had been busy and had not met. We met today, so naturally we want to get to know each other a lot. Li Xian is not only a shareholder, but also a well-known model. He is a person who has entered the entertainment industry. He has good personal conditions and packages well. Even if he becomes famous in the future, he will not change jobs. Li Xian, you are also in the entertainment industry now. When we set up this company, you will be the second artist signed by our company, Tang Qian said, the company will provide good resources to train you. At the same time, because they are our own people and have been trained well, we are not afraid of them changing jobs. After all, Qi Xiaoyan and Li Xian have shares in the company, which makes them bundled. Brother Tang, who is the first? Li Xian swallowed the meat in his mouth and asked curiously, do I know him? Qi Xiaoyan, your eldest cousin's good sister is an excellent singer, Tang Qian said, I am preparing a cassette for her now. As for you, I have discussed your future development path with your manager. We will push you to become an international supermodel, and then move to China to package you with the best resources. Qi Xiaoyan, the Snake King remembers her, and is considered an acquaintance. Thank you, Brother Tang, Snake King said, I'm toasting you now, and I hope you'll take good care of me in the future. Okay, since you call me brother, my brother will definitely protect you, Tang Qian said, don't think too much about other things, just do your best. Li Xian was in high spirits, and his brother and sister kept toasting and received a lot of promises and help. At noon, friends from home, as well as the elderly and children, all ate to their satisfaction. Roe deer meat is particularly tender and delicious. There is also a chef like Lu Wangzia at home, and the food he makes people want to swallow their own tongues. Half a month later, Tang Chao Entertainment Media Co., Limited was established. At the beginning, there were not many people in the company. The office was renovated from a factory near Fuxi Auto Sales. It was a large place. And because of Fuxi Automobile in the past few years, the surrounding area had become much more lively and a relatively complete structure had been formed. Business District. Tang Qian bought the factory directly. If it develops later, he can build his own building. Tang Qian was recruiting people during this time. The company had already grown in size and was starting to prepare for making movies and releasing cassettes. Thanks to everyone's efforts, the entire company is quickly on track and operating normally. He Tian is busy at the training center and at home every day. Sometimes she comes home early and can still pick up her children. On this day, Huo Yingjun and Zhao Huan came with their children. Today is not the weekend. It just so happens that He Tian has just arrived home and is greeting her elder brother and sister-in-law. As for the kids, send them directly to the toy room, which has a variety of toys that older kids will love. Over there, He Tian, Zhao Huan were chatting, and Huo Yingja was off work. Taking off his woolen coat, Huo Yingja asked, "Brother, why are you here at this time? Is something wrong?" The day after tomorrow, their family will go to the old house. If the eldest brother is fine, there is no need to make this unnecessary trip. Haha, I will go to the Three Treasures Hall for nothing, Huo Yingjun said. I am going to work in the Soviet Union soon. This time, your sister-in-law will follow me. Ruxiang is old, let him go to school in Yanjing. Ruinian still has little one, I want to take it with me. Oh, Huo Yingja nodded, I guess you will do the same thing. You come here and want to tell me that Tian and I can help take care of Ruxiang, right? Good brother, you'll hit the mark with one guess, Huo Yingjun said. Grandfather, grandmother, and my parents, it's not that they don't know how to teach their children, it's just that they are the next generation and they will pamper their children. I'm afraid that my children will be spoiled lawlessly. In the future, it's just that if you can't become a talented person, you'll bring trouble to your family. Brother, Ruxiang is very obedient, don't say that to him, He Tian said. She liked Huo Ruxiang very much and was a sensible child. Haha, I'm afraid that we are about to enter junior high school now. Children at this age are most likely to become bad, Huo Yingjun said. Huan and I are not around usually, so we can't worry. You and your second brother are both teaching children. We ask you to do it, feel free to leave. Brother, sister-in-law, Yingjun will come to practice martial arts with Yingja on weekends, so you don't have to worry too much, He Tian persuaded, saying that sometimes you have to make a choice, and you can only make the child feel wronged. However, as an aunt, she will help take care of Huo Ruxiang. Well, yes, brother, Huo Yingja said, you and sister-in-law can go without worries. I will pay attention to Ruxiang and teach him to prevent him from going astray. With your words, I feel relieved, Huo Yingjun said. Zhao Huan also looked at He Tian gratefully and said, thank you, Tian. You're welcome. I watched Ruxiang grow up, and Ruwa and Ruimin also like to play with their brothers, He Tian said. Look, as soon as Ruxiang came, they stopped bothering me. Haha, a big kid can take care of a group of kids, Huo Yingjun said. This used to be like this in our compound. Now Ruxiang is also the king of kids in our area, and other kids also like to play with him. That's because Ruxiang is popular, He Tian smiled and praised Huo Ruxiang. In order to show caution, Huo Yingjun and Zhao Huan came in person. After the weekend party, Huo Yingjun, Zhao Huan, and their young son embarked on a journey abroad. With the Huo family's confidants following him, Mr. Huo and Huo Jekian were not worried. Huo Ruxiang was a little disappointed, but he also understood the truth. It's not that his parents don't love him, but they have to leave because of work. My brother is still young and needs to be taken care of by his parents. When he grows up, he can take care of himself. However, since his parents left, his second uncle and second aunt have been better to him, and his younger brothers and sisters also like him, so he did not feel lost for too long and devoted himself to studying, practicing martial arts, and having fun. Just when life was going on as planned, a shocking conspiracy was approaching Huo Jekin. Because Huo Jekin's work is outstanding, his upcoming promotion will destroy other people's opportunities. In order to prevent Huo Jekan from ascending to power, some people found opportunities and used despicable means. In the secret room, several people sat opposite each other. The Huo family is deeply rooted. If we use this method, it will not hurt the Huo family. At most, it will have some impact on the Huo family, an old man said, and this method is a bit aggressive. Once it fails, it will be very harmful to the Huo family. It won't have much impact, but it will expose our thoughts. Haha, you are thinking too much, another old man said. These things are just pouring dirty water on the Huo family. Even if the water above is cleaned, the mud on the clothes cannot be wiped off. Besides, these things are not ours, just do it, and someone will do it. At the same time, we are using people from the Lu family this time, so they won't find us. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1071. 1069. Everyone has their own concerns. It would be nice if the dirty water was really dirty water, a relatively young middle-aged man said. They thought of this countermeasure and understood that the Huo family's wealth was not due to corruption and bribery by Huo Jekan. Yes, but Huo Yingja married a golden doll and made money alone, so that the entire Huo family does not have to worry about money, the first old man with a long face said with envy in his tone. He Tianation's mother-in-law is a wealthy family abroad. Rich overseas Chinese. If the family is not short of money, who would engage in corruption and bribery? I'm so envious and jealous, said the last old man. Old Zheng, your family suffers the most from the Huo family. What do you think? The round-faced old man asked. We are not in the same faction as the Huo family now. We are already in alliance. If you have anything to say, just say it. I'll help you. This old Zheng is the same old man Zheng who almost capsized the Huo family. Back then, the Zheng family suffered heavy losses, but they were insured, so the Huo family had no way to kill them all, so it gave the Zheng family a chance to breathe. But the Zheng family couldn't swallow this breath and always wanted to take revenge, so they joined the small alliance against the Huo family. Although these people have the idea of using the Zheng family as swordsmen, Mr. Zheng also wants to use the power of these people to deal with the Huo family together. The Huo family has so much money and so many properties. Even if it is investigated, it will take a long time, so we will use this time to publicize it. Some people know the truth, but it doesn't matter. Those idle people don't know. And many people have a hatred of the rich. Even if the Huo family is not guilty, their reputation will be tainted, and they will be constrained in doing things, and they will definitely not be as prosperous as they are now, Mr. Zheng said coldly. He had waited too long for the day of counterattack. Long time. Although the current Zheng family has recovered its vitality, it cannot be compared with the Huo family at this time. Fortunately, there are still several more capable children in the family, so the Zheng family can still compete. But if the Huo family is not captured, the Huo family will always be on top of the Zheng family. Haha, what Lao Zheng said is true, the third old man said. This time, we will do a warm-up period to make the Huo family stink first, and then we will use some tricks to reveal the secrets. With a set of combo punches, I've seen great results. Yeah, let's think about it carefully, the round-faced old man said, and then started a new round of discussion. The inspection team that came down, in ancient times, was the censor's inspection. We should not only inspect the good ones, but also pay attention to the bad ones, which is related to the political performance of local officials. Last year, Jiangsu province, as the top province in paying taxes in the country, became the target of inspections. Huo Jekan and Li Qiang have ordered the officials below to do their jobs well, and everything else remains as usual. Last year, because great progress was made in economic development, environmental protection, cultural heritage, and the construction of various livelihood projects, officials who have clean hands and feet are not worried. Huo Jekan and others were waiting for good news. However, the good news did not come, but it was a surprise. Li Qiang quietly came to Huo Jekan's house at night. "How can you come to my place at this time?" Huo Jekan didn't know the situation yet, so he looked at his old partner with a smile. Li Qiang smiled a little forcedly and said, "I have something to do. Let's go to the study to talk about it." Huo Jekan was stunned and a little confused, but he still took Li Qiang into the study. Zhang Lifang came over personally to deliver tea and helped close the door. "Lao Huo, I just received news that someone reported you for taking advantage of your position to commit corruption and bribery and amass huge wealth," Li Qiang said. "This is a report letter from the inspection team, and it is a real name report. Now that the whistleblower has been protected, he doesn't know who it is. That friend also made a good deal for the Huo family through Li Qiang, but he didn't know much about the specifics." Huo Jekan was stunned for a moment, then smiled bitterly and said, "Hey, I really haven't taken any bribes." Li Qiang looked at Huo Jekan. He had worked with Huo Jekan for several years and he knew Huo Jekan very well. Not only is he outstanding in ability, but he is also a rare and honest official who has not accepted bribes. However, things like throwing dirty water have been common since ancient times. This time, it may not bring a substantial blow to Huo Jekan, but it will also affect his official reputation. "Hey, I used to feel that it was too smooth, and I always felt uneasy. Now it's finally here," Huo Jekan said. "My family is rich, but it is all earned by my daughter-in-law. Lai Fang and I are still Yu Yingjia's salary is nothing compared to what my daughter-in-law earns." "Haha, your family has married a golden baby," Li Qiang said enviously. "This matter is big or small. You don't have to worry. We are here. You can send a letter to Yanjing quickly and ask the Huo family to help in Yanjing. You deal with it and don't let these rumors spread and damage your reputation." Huo Jekan nodded and said, "Thank you, Brother Li. If you hadn't reminded me, I wouldn't have known about it in advance, let alone dealt with it. It is estimated that tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I will have to cooperate with the working group's investigation and I will not be able to contact you. Don't worry and calm down. I can't control the Yanjing side, but you don't have to worry about the Jiangsu province side. I will never. It will cause you trouble," Li Qiang said. "Those people are too despicable. In order to achieve their goals, they actually used such means to slander an official who specializes in doing good things for the people." "Yeah, I'll pay attention," Huo Jekan nodded, thinking quickly about what to do. After Li Qiang left, Huo Jekan was in the study, silent for a long time. "Don't be afraid. He has experienced countless things more dangerous than this in his official career, and he has come through them all safely. This time, I can get through it safely. Don't do bad things, don't be afraid of ghosts knocking on your door. If he is guilty, he can confidently say that all officials in country H are probably guilty." Seeing that Li Qiang was gone and her husband hadn't come out yet, Zhang Lifang came in and saw her husband looking out the window with a lonely face. "Lao Huo, what's wrong?" Zhang Lifang was a little worried and stepped forward behind her husband. Anyway, his wife would know about it in 2 days, so Huo Jekan didn't hide it from Zhang Lifang and said to Zhang Lifang, "Someone reported that my family has a lot of money and that I have been involved in corruption and bribery." "Ah," Zhang Lifang was stunned. "Who is so wicked?" "I don't know yet, but don't worry too much. It's just throwing dirty water. This kind of trick is often used in official work," Huo Jekan said. "During the Chinese New Year, Yingjia also reminded me that it is the last year, so I should be more careful. I didn't expect it would really cause trouble." "Are we going to send a message to Yanjing?" Zhang Lifang asked. "This matter not only concerns Su province, but also the Huo family in Yanjing." "Well, I have already called my father. He will know what it means, Huo Jekan said. Although it was just a normal greeting, he used the original code. As long as you look for the relevant codes based on what he said, you can know what it means. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1072. 1070. Huo Jekan's words made Zhang Lifang feel slightly relieved. Zhang Lifang nodded and said, "We have not broken the law, so don't worry. As for our wealth, it was also earned by Tianatian's business. Every money has traces, and it is clear that it is from her business. We told her before. Tian is a smart child and will definitely do it. Yes, you don't have to worry, it will be over soon." Huo Jekan stood up and gently hugged his wife. This time, what happened made him understand more about the importance of power. Those people didn't want him to go up, but he had to go up. Those who cause harm will be punished one by one. When the Huo family received the news, Mr. Huo hurriedly left Maor Ali under the protection of his bodyguards, regardless of how late it was. Huo Yingjie and He Tian were preparing to take a rest when they heard reports from outside. The two looked at each other and knew something was wrong, and it wasn't a good thing. The two put on their clothes and quickly welcomed Mr. Huo in. He Tian was afraid of the cold, so she got up and brought a blanket to cover his legs, and also made hot tea. "Grandpa, drink some tea," He Tian said, feeling a little uneasy. "What is going on?" Somewhat scared. After drinking tea, Mr. Huo calmed down a little and said softly, "The inspection team is inspecting Jiangsu province, and someone reported your father for corruption and bribery." He Tian was stunned and said hurriedly, "Did someone make a fuss out of my business?" "I didn't say that you were in business, I just said that your family has a lot of money, and there are suspicions of corruption and perversion of the law." Mr. Huo said, "This is slander. I have reminded your father from the beginning that he will not engage in power for money transactions." After thinking about it carefully, He Tian calmed down. "Well, I need detailed accounts for every business here," He Tian said, "and I heard from Brother Chi before that they just want to avoid this matter, and the accounting fees are very detailed. What I get here, I received the gift from Brother Chi, but I also paid for it, so my father-in-law will be fine." Huo Yingjie nodded and said, "Well, Grandpa, don't worry. My father will be fine. This matter itself is just made up out of nothing. If a property declaration is made, our family can explain clearly, so don't be afraid. I'm not worried about something happening to your father. I'm just angry that someone threw dirty water on your father at a critical moment." Mr. Huo said, "The matter hasn't been spread yet. You know what you know, so don't mess up." "Well, I understand, Grandpa," He Tian said. "Grandpa, do I need to go to Nanxi to cooperate with the investigation?" "Don't be anxious, everything will continue as usual," Mr. Huo said. "I will do the above activities. You just need to stabilize yourself and don't get angry, so as not to get into trouble. Someone will naturally come to investigate when the time comes, and you just need to cooperate with the investigation." "Yes, Grandpa," He Tian nodded. "She needs to have a meeting with the lawyer and the staff below her tomorrow." Seeing that his grandfather was not looking very good, Huo Yingjie comforted him, "Grandpa, my father has been so smooth these years. Now there are some twists and turns, which is not a bad thing. It is obvious that someone poured dirty water on my father. We have to put on clothes in advance, wear a raincoat and don't get splashed on your body." "Yes, I will find someone to do this." "You don't have to do anything," Mr. Huo said, "so as not to make arrangements between the two parties, mess up the situation, and take advantage of others." "Well, let Grandpa arrange it," Huo Yingjie said. As for what to do in private, he would arrange it and not let anyone know. When Mr. Huo saw that the two of them were at peace, he no longer worried. "Then I'll go back. Your grandmother is still waiting at home," Mr. Huo said, not to disturb the rest of the two. "Grandpa, Go back and tell grandma that father is fine and tell her not to worry. He Tian said that tomorrow she would go to her old house to visit her. He Tian was extremely lucky that all her accounts were clear. After Mr. Huo left, He Tian looked troubled. Hey, my father-in-law has been implicated by me. He Tian said, if business affected her father-in-law's career, she would always feel guilty. Haha. Huo Yingji smiled and rubbed He Tian's head. It's my father who has caused trouble for you. Father's rise will inevitably affect other positions, so even if our family is not doing business, there are still other things to blame. You don't have to take everything on yourself, it's not your fault at all. Grandpa came over, but he just comforted you and reminded you, and didn't say anything else, because we all know it's not your fault. Hearing Huo Yingji's words, He Tian felt better. Hey, I hope my father-in-law won't be wrong this time. He Tian said, it would be uneconomical for such a good official to have his career affected because of this incident. He Tian knew that her father-in-law was an ambitious person in his career. If you want to go further, you can't have flaws. Brother Yingji, although my grandfather asked us to do nothing, I feel bad about this, so you should use your ability to help father. He Tian said, hurry up and think of a way. Actually, my grandfather and I both know that this incident will not cause any substantial harm to my father, but it will affect his official reputation and thus his career. Huo Yingji said, but since someone reports it, the inspection team will investigation, our family assets will be announced to the public by then. If they know that our family is so rich, they will be surprised. However, fortunately, you have insisted on doing charity in the past few years. In addition to investing, more than half of our money has been made. All the money has been invested in the Veterans Fund, and if the Spring Rain project becomes a big deal, it will make our Huo family's reputation even better, which is a blessing in disguise. He Tian listened and nodded, well, you are right. I didn't think much about it before. I just thought that our family has money, and too much money, so I just wanted to help some people in need. No thinking that this time can have such a final effect, it's no wonder that good people are rewarded, and the money we make for charity every year should be used to accumulate blessings for our Huo family. Well, so there's no need to be afraid. Huo Yingji said with a smile, some things happen that seem like difficulties, but if they are overcome, they might turn into good things. Next, the two of us will work together to put this together. Things work. Okay, let's let those people steal the chicken but lose the rice. He Tian said, finally find the mastermind. Even if we can't deal with it this time, we will deal with them again when we have the opportunity. That's it, okay, don't worry, let's take a rest now. Huo Yingji said, slightly relieved to see that He Tian no longer had the same frown on her face just now.